Welcome. Happy August. Hope you're doing well. All right. I'm live. Apparently, I'm live. Hello, everyone. We are going to be doing a transit report today. And let's see, that looks good. So we're live on YouTube as well as my private network, www.humandesign.live, as well as, hello, Instagram. And we are going to share my screen so that you can see what I'm doing. I can find the share my screen button. Where is it? Share. There it is. Okay. Share screen options. Hi. I'm glad you're here, honey. Okay. Just while I'm waiting for this, it's not working for whatever reason quite yet. One participant can share at a time. Who can share? Doesn't matter. While I'm waiting for this to share with you, I just want to let you know it's August. And so what that means is that I don't have a ton of classes to teach. Last semester, I had 11 classes. And because it's August, I don't have a ton of classes. And that means that I've opened up my calendar. Another exciting opportunity, experience that you might be interested in is that normally for all of my sessions, my readings, what I do is have a presentation made for someone. So an analysis presentation. Now I've split those apart so that you can get the written and video analysis separately, and that's on my website. The humandesignsystem.com is my main website, where if you're a professional that I've trained, we now can list you as someone who has trained with me. So if you're interested in that, write to office@humandesignlifecoaching.com. And at humandesignlifecoaching.com is where you can find the professionals that I have under my house, you could say. I promote them. They are part of my team. I've been working with them for a really long time. So to be able to support the expansion of the knowledge in the way that I have been trained and know how to teach as well as perform. So this, again, for those of you who are just joining, hello, hello. We are going to be starting some new programs, and I'm wanting to ensure that I'm really supporting people where they're at, wherever they're at. So my main focus is going to be on ensuring that we have you matched up with not only the right person for you, but also that you are matched up with the right program. So if you have any questions, I'm available this particular month because not a lot of classes right now. It's the between semesters. And so my calendar has also opened up to private one-on-one consulting, which hasn't happened like this in a while at this price because I've broken off the presentations into a separate offering. So if that's interesting to you, I look forward to connecting with you. And let's go ahead and take a look. Now, if you're wanting to see what I'm looking at as far as the transits today, you're going to want to go to youtube.com/, oh gosh, actually just search human design system. I'll come up. I can't remember if there's supposed to be a little something before the humandesignSystem.com. Okay. So I am sharing on YouTube my screen share about today's transit. And we are at the end of the quarter of civilization, which is purpose fulfilled through form. And what's happening now is that you might find it's a great time in the middle of the year somewhat to look back at this first part of the year and see how was it that we could have possibly potentially learned from this year, this experience. The sun is transiting through gate 33, which is part of the quarter, the end, the last close of the quarter. So those people who have 33 in their sun, happy birthday to you. And we're looking at the gate of retreat, which is about this potential to express what we have learned, to share our remembrances, our stories, what it is that we have personally experienced when it comes to our lessons from the past. My big dog came over and knocked something over. The lessons of the past, if you don't have gate 13 in your human design and you only have the 33, like where the sun is shining today, then this is one of the configurations I have, so I know it to be true from personal experience. What you'll find is that, especially if you're a 3, you attempt to have experiences and potentially make mistakes without necessarily learning from the mistake. So if you don't have the 13, this is what can happen. And so when we're looking at the 33, let me just click on it for you here. And we're at mybodygraph.com. Great software, appropriate for the newcomer if you want to help yourself learn human design. Really fascinating area of study. The 33 is called retreat. The hexagram is retreat. And this is a gate, a portal that is opened up in our genetics because in space, that's where the current sun is. So the conditioning is about retreat with gate 33. So it's calling us to have an active withdrawal and a transformation of a weak position into a strength. That's what the gate of privacy is talking about. You can see we've got 2 days left for this particular activation. If you have gate 13 on the other side and not the 33, what you'll be experiencing then today is the witnessing, prodigal design of a witness, witnessing influence of what it is to be you during this week. So just to know that there is something there, it's a stop codon in our genetics, as far as where 33 is, that there's something there that is shining a light on your past. So your attention, your draw, your ruminations about what you might have been experiencing, not only this past week, which is the strongest of the influence from the sun, but also this past year, maybe even your entire life. Have you found that there's potentially some kind of common ground or connectivity field between your experiences that now you're finally linking up your history? Because this is a gate that is about being a historian or making sense of the experiential path from actual either your experience or what you've, if you've got the 13 on the other side, what you've listened to, what you've taken in. The 13 is a secrets gate. It's like a collector, a secrets collector. So 13s have lots of secrets. They can learn from their mistakes if they've got the 33, especially. So if you've got this whole channel, what have you witnessed that you can share? Now, you don't want to share without attuning to whether this is right timing to share. All throat gates are in the quarter of civilization, which is purpose fulfilled through form. And information, to inform, information is to put either concepts, which this is not. This is now the past experiences, because what we're looking at is when we have the identity, love, and direction of the G center, the higher self, having the experiential process that it can share because it has actually gone through that lesson. Now we have something incredible and incredibly valuable to offer potentially if we've made sense of it. Now, this is in the abstract circuitry. So what abstract circuitry is about the actual cyclical process of beginnings, middles, and ends, this evolutionary, I like to call it a spiral, because that's what we do. We spiral through space and time. Not only physically, we're all hurtling through space at unbelievable speeds, but also when we are born, there is this genetic spiral that all of us are being imprinted by, evolutionarily speaking. So different gifts are going to get unlocked and they're going to shine within you at different times of your life. We don't experience time like that. It is, distributed out not evenly, I might add, your experience of time ruled by Saturn, but the experiential process, this is what we're focused on this week as far as the conscious personality focus because of the sun's influence. Influence is a good word. Today is a fourth line day. Happy fourth line day. Hello, friends. Fourth line days are great for reaching out to those that you know. So it's the most powerful day of the rave week. If you are interested in making some kind of offer or putting out an opportunity to your friends, your family, your familiar, the people that know, like, and trust you, then this is the thing that I want you to process and be aware of. Not that you're going to intentionally try and force or push, but just if you want to set yourself up for success, leverage yourself a bit. Once you, let's say if you're emotional like me, once you've gotten clear on some kind of action, And that clarity means no nervousness, no excitement, no depth of pain. Where's the common ground, the middle ground? And find that space either inside first or in the spaciousness between you and another on the outside for that opportunity to be given to them as part of what you have to give. Not from a graspy, greedy place. This is not three business. When we're looking at four, this is being able to influence through the opportunity of being able to have this connective field. Strong relational values is really important when you are four. Okay, so the frequency field is kindness and meanness. When you're kind, have you noticed this? Sometimes kindness comes with a little bit of a, um, let's say, an ulterior motive. You ever notice those people who are fours? They've got some kind of thing in their back pocket and they're holding it just for that opportunity to try and leverage some gift with you. If I give you this, you're going to give me that, the bargain kind of thing of tribal nature of being. Okay, so there's kindness on that spectrum. And then there's just this generosity, this unconditional giving. That's a different kind of, we could call it kindness, right? It's not true kindness when you've got some ulterior motive, but this is, there's always a spectrum of how these things, or people in this case, show up. So this is one of the things that you might be able to watch for today, is see how that kindness, meanness, bent or awareness comes through you. Is it true for you? Is it authentic to you? Because you don't want to make an offer like being an Indian giver. You don't want to give an opportunity when it's really not yours to give. And that's one of the most important things that I have seen that fourth lines use who actually aren't authentic. When they're not coming from an authentic place, they might manipulate from this place of, oh, I'll give this to you. Let me give this to you if you do X, Y, and Z. Now, that again tends to come from tribal business. The fourth line, what else it does? It censors things. It will be friendly and familiar. It will be kind. And then you see the opposite side of it. It will be mean, incredibly mean. You got an emotional fourth line. You got to really watch your step when they are in a funk or in a mood. If they're not an attitude, if they're not able to come from an authentic space. And this is not to be derogatory towards anybody. Everybody's got their own trip. Everybody's going through a hard time right now. There's all kinds of uncertainties. There's all kinds of trauma, drama, whatever. Everybody's got something going on. Didn't wake up on the right side of the bed, quote unquote, the emotional system, up and down wave that we cannot control. It is chemistry. It is not something that you are at fault for. This is one of the things. Now, there's a little bit of dogma here when it comes to human design. Oftentimes what happens is people say, I have no choice. I'm going to be mean. And then they justify or rationalize being mean because of course I'm justified in my pain and suffering. And of course I'm going to lash out in emotional rage. I'm an emotional being. I'm supposed to be emotional. That's not how it works. It is so not how it works. When you engage in the deeper layer or level of this human design experiment, like truly, authentically committed to you and your process, your energy, when it comes to being mean, it's a signpost of some kind of boundary. When I think boundary, I think Saturn. Saturn is a gift. Yes, we think of it as, pain or discipline, restriction, constraint, but those limitations are there for a reason. That will show you, Saturn shows you where thou shalt not pass, It's not for you to go beyond that particular, whatever it is, that portal, that gate. For me, my personal Saturn happens to be here in the 33. And so when it comes to making sense of experiences, takes me a really freaking long time to make sense. I'm abstract, emotional. So just because you're emotional does not give you the right to trespass on other people's boundaries, or in today's language, to censor them or to be mean to them. Everyone has a right to be their own authority. So that's what I've learned in context with the 33 quite recently. I'm always going to bring you exactly what I feel to be true relative to my personal experience. Take what resonates, leave the rest. We're only going to go into the grounding for today. I used to do these a couple years ago, news you could use. It's backed by popular demand. A couple people asked now, and they really want to see these. And what I would do was quite overkill, like going through all the different activations and what if this and what if that. If you want to see demonstrations of that, just search the YouTube channel. But what I want to do is help all of us level up our knowledge. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do this, like commit to this. We'll see. Maybe if I keep being fueled by this, I would like to, as many as possible, reach you in the morning. Just bring it into part of my pattern to come on and just at least talk about sun and earth. And what that'll do over a year is give us an actual real life experience or recount that I would love for you, if it's right for you to do so, wherever you find this video, to put your own experiences underneath the video. And so if we go back to what the 33 is and the line quality, it's saying the word dignity, dignity. Okay. We're going to focus mostly on the sun and we'll speak to the nature of the earth just to wrap things up. Dignity, I know I have in my own design, my unconscious sun, innate dignity. Dignity here in the 33, we're learning about the wisdom potential. If this is one of your activations, this is what you're learning about the wisdom potential of having a lack of turmoil when you retreat. Retreat means, again, remember, to transform a weak position into a strength. So if we go back to that experience of being mean, yeah, you're in an emotional wave, your fourth line personality, conscious personality, and you're being mean. So in that meanness, in that justification and rationalization, of course I deserve to be mean, would you actually have more power behind whatever you felt you were wronged or justified in your rage? Would you have more power if you were to simply sit back and wait rather than initiate? Maybe you were to, instead of making assumptions, remember assumptions makes an ass out of you and me, false assumptions or false narratives. Anytime we believe the mind story, we're looking at Maya. So if ever you feel this uncomfortableness, either retreat or ask a question, as in, I'm feeling, you can make the statement too, just keep people informed, especially if you're emotional. I'm feeling really upset about this particular news that I've just heard. And I'm curious if you could share with me your intentionality behind what you said about X, Y, and Z, you know? Or I'm open to a conversation about this particular opportunity that I'm being presented with, because right now I'm feeling really emotional. I don't want to have that conversation today. But the thing that's really triggering me is whatever, list your fears, your anxieties, your confusions, rather than attempting to blast the other person out of the water with your mentally justified pain and suffering because you just happen to be on an emotional wave. And perhaps even, maybe you're not emotional, you just get triggered from a wounding or a repeating pattern that now life has brought you the opportunity to potentially look at and heal. Life gives us the opportunity to reflect and reassess and go through. If we haven't learned from the experience, again, remember, we're talking about the 33 here. So if you don't have the 13 as a planetary activation in your own design, and you're a 33 like me, hi, and especially threes, hi, I'm a third line mind. What tends to happen is you will make the same mistake over and over and over and over again. Nobody likes to make the same mistake over and over and over again. Anybody else out like there? Don't do that. Do you like it? It's uncomfortable, right? I'll try it this way. I used to think it was just a three thing. Oh, um, you know, when it comes to the process of your development, of your awareness, one of the tools I give people is wild mind writing. Learned it from Jenna Oblivion, and there's books out there on wild mind writing. Genoa Oblivion, the Manifester, and Human Design America. And it's one of the tools he would give us in order to just free associative writing and process what happened. So maybe you're feeling so uncomfortable, you're afraid of the damaging effect of the email or the phone call or the flurry of texts because you just got your wound triggered, whatever that wound happens to be. Okay. And this is with a friend, right? Somebody that's familiar. You're a 4. So everyone with whom you are having, we're in this hypothetical situation, everyone with whom you are having an experiential process with that is very deep, friends, familiars, not strangers. This would have been somebody maybe you opened up yourself to and you feel shocked and betrayed. So instead of damaging that relationship with accusations that are perhaps baseless, why not wild mind right? Why not retreat? Today is a good day for doing that. Learning about a lack of turmoil in retreat. Now, the influence of Pluto here, if Pluto is here, okay, anytime you look at a line quality, it's going to be a this or a that. So the line quality being this, the what Ra would say exalted position, the underlying faith in resurrection that turns retreat into an opportunity for renewal and regeneration. So this is on this side, Pluto gives us the depth of wisdom to retreat, to be able to have a healthy retreat so that you can regenerate. Because remember, we're talking about abstract circuitry. We're talking about the end of the quarter of civilization, purpose fulfilled through form. Words are information. When we use our words carelessly in a rage or in an emotional stage of upset, what we're going to do across the board, for the most part, is generate that rage or upset right back. You're going to get it right back from that other person. Have you noticed? When you're upset, somebody might just get even more amplified at you in return. There's 2 different ways that somebody is going to react. Let's say the person I'm talking about hypothetically, this would be you, being a 4th line and emotional. You get upset, you're in a rage, and you spew the emotional system in an unhealthy state. I would call it emotional vomiting, projectile vomiting. If you've ever projectile vomiting, you know how gross that is and how damaging it can be if you've ever done it yourself. Anybody ever done it themselves? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Before human design, totally had this incredible Kali type rage. That's where my son is. Kali type rage. Damage, destroy, kill mercilessly. Okay. Before human design, before mellowing out as an emotional being. Most emotional beings learn to mellow out. So if that other person, let's say, is non-emotional, the extreme end of the spectrum as in non-emotionally defined, they're still going to feel emotions. They're just not going to have it consistently accessible inside of their body, reliable, trustworthy as a wave frequency from which they can find clarity in order to make decisions. They just won't. And there's 2 ways these people are going to react to an emotionally projectile vomiting, spewing blame and hatred and meanness. They're either going to pull up and back in your face. Maybe they're an ego manifester with non-emotional definition. Have you ever had that happen? Yeah. Where it gets just right back in your face. Okay. There's one way, the outer way, or you're going to have somebody goes, sorry. Because just like if you've ever played with shells, snails at the beach, or I guess on land too. I mostly played with them at the beach because I grew up in Hawaii, or underwater because I was a scuba diver. If you've ever touched one, you know they just go. Okay, so you don't even have to be very mean. You can just go, like it's not this projectile vomiting rage, and they'll just go, right? Because why? We can have 2 different ways, generally speaking, of amplifying that emotional wave. And what most emotional people will learn how to do is try to, not that they can, but they'll try to compress or control their emotionality, their wave. They'll try to hold things in when in fact that's unhealthy, because the longer that you, let's say you've got a pressure cooker, if you've ever used a pressure cooker, if you've got a pressure cooker and you don't blow off the steam, what happens? Oh, right? Boom. Like, whoa, that's really bad. We don't want that to happen. So the longer that an emotional person, um all my husbands, my father, now my mother, emotional wave defined. When you got it, put a lid on it, even though they're not saying anything, they might come across kind, not mean. You can feel, I'm feeling cognition. Maybe you can smell it if you're smell cognition. I feel it in my body. The frequency, the sensitivity that I've gotten over the years of attuning to aligned or misaligned in my own body, as well as what I'm hearing from my clients, I can pick up on it right away. And I imagine, especially those of you who are non-emotional with a feeling cognition, can you pick up on that right away? I have seen that in my students, my clients. So, oh, the moon just shifted. Hello, moon. Went into the fifth line of gate 53, development, the gate of beginnings. Is it time for you, this moment, to have a new beginning? Wow, that's great serendipity, because if you can come to this space of operating from awareness, this whole human design experiment is simply about finding out what is true for you in your awareness principle, what's honest and authentic and real and aligned, that helps you tune into the individuation process of what is unique to you. So if you can do that, one of the things that you can do is have that little tiny space, pregnant pause, maybe, potentially, not always, but I want you to look for it. Because when you look for it, you're more likely to see it. Now, in that space, when you're really raging and upset and whatever it is, mean, can you go, who's watching? Take a deep breath. Breath links us to the emotional system, the unconscious Saturn breathing out. So if you're holding your breath, there's some kind of limitation the form is bumping up against. So paying attention the next time you're upset to the breath. Are you holding your breath? Signpost from Saturn. Thank you, Saturn. Love you. Awesome. Love Saturn. Like when you truly make what is it? A 180, and you turn around and you are coming from a very different place intrinsically, knowing your own worth, knowing your own sovereignty, knowing you don't have to take it lying down. This is Laveena's wound. Yeah, somebody gets mad at me. Okay. Or, right? So there's this, but the doesn't come until like days later because I'm an emotional being. Yeah, emotional being on the autistic spectrum, and not knowing, I had to learn how to animate my face. I had to learn how to variate my voice. I had to learn how to, and I learned how to live in this world from people who are not self. So those are my role models. Nope, no fault there. Nobody knew about human design when I was growing up. But now we have this opportunity. And isn't that nice? Let's talk about the Neptune, the detriment, as Ra would call it. He did say that that was a bit of a mistake, as far as making the mistake of labeling it in that way, because now you think of it as good, bad, right, wrong, exalted. Sounds nice. Detriment. Ooh, I don't like that. And if you go and read all the detriments, you might go, oh gosh, I really don't like that. It says, without the guiding light of resurrection, the inevitable dissolution that leads to degeneration. Remember, the other side was regeneration. Now we're talking about degeneration. So, in other words, it's about being forced to retreat and unable to see its regenerative qualities. What you're learning about with this particular gate and line is a lack of turmoil in retreat. So, I've had to do that myself, experience retreat. And in this current cycle that I'm in, Uranus opposition, there's a lack of the ability to renew in retreat. So there's always this, the mind, because it's the foundation of my mind, Saturn. It's the mind of having this constant cyclical, trying to get above, like get a bigger picture view or get above it all, to be aware. And so in your awareness game, because that's what this human design system experiment is all about. In your awareness game, is it right for you to source into that breath? Breath is what connects us up to here and now. You hold your breath for long enough and you are no longer here and now, right? Pass out at least. I don't know that you can ever kill yourself by holding your breath. Although us little kids, didn't we try to do that? I never asked to be born. What are you doing? Oh, I really don't want to be here. Little kid. That's what happens when you are not operating in alignment, is you are coming from a space of inauthenticity. It's like holding your hands over your ears when you were a little kid and going, la, 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 I'm not hearing you. I don't want to pay attention to you. You can't take in any new information. You just can't. So what you can do is breathe. Can't you? Could you? Could you try to breathe and connect up with the body? That's one of the most important things that I feel can be helpful when we're in any time of crisis or challenge or upset. Okay, so let's just wrap this up. I'm going to close the properties here. And I want to show you in the wheel, in the mandala wheel, across the way, it's the gate 19. 19, this is about our ability to approach things. Are we going to approach things from a healthy space or not? An aligned place or not? Fourth lines are here, this particular transit, and fourth lines are designed to be team players. Team players through the opportunity, through the network, through those that you know, that kind of thing. So we're learning about what's grounding for us today is an individual approach which attracts and accepts cooperation. So when feeling threatened, this is tribal, so whatever you own, your territory being threatened, your responsibilities, your position, your needs for safety and security and family and friends and teamwork, when that's being threatened, can you learn to have that individual approach which attracts and accepts cooperation? If you're in an emotional funk, you are not going to be attracting cooperation. So again, where you have more power, particularly if you're emotional, is to wait, especially when you're emotional. Okay. So on one side, we have Mars and his fiery nature influencing the exaltation. It's the power and energy for outward activity and the ability to accept others as long as they can keep up. And then it's also a driving force that can benefit the whole group. This is, in other words, the energy to seek out and exult in the company of others. Seek out a drive. Where can I go to be needed? Who needs me? Yeah, the need principle. This is in the root center. We were talking about the throat earlier. Now we're in the drive for tribal natures, community, bargains, bonding, whether that be in business to make babies, love, honor, and obey, whatever it is relative to business or babies, this is a drive for socialism, for communism. If you go to my YouTube page, yesterday I recorded about a 28-minute video on just the 19 because right now the 49 is currently decoupling from that gate in our genetic code. And that channel will be completely broken in just less than a couple years now. Okay, on the flip side of this 19, Venus detriments. And what that reads is attractive and cooperative, but a tendency to dissatisfaction with the contribution of others, a sensitivity energized by the limitations of others. So, kindness, meanness. That's the thing to watch out for today. I hope you enjoyed this transit report. If you liked this video, please do. I would appreciate a like, a share, a subscribe. If you're not subscribed, of course, you at humandesign.live. You don't need to subscribe to anything. We'll do our best to do this again. And I can see that I didn't get the angle quite right for all the cameras, but let me know how I can improve this, yeah? How I can support us all in our journey of mastering the human design system. Namaste. Have a great day. Bye for now.